The battle rages at 20,000 feet. The formation is fractured, fighting for every inch of altitude and airspace.
December 31st, 1944. 37 B-17 Flying Fortress.
Their target, the critical oil refineries of Hamburg, a vital artery of the Third Reich's war machine.
The mission demands absolute precision, flying through a lethal blend of weather and enemy defenses.
The German anti-aircraft guns open fire. They are now entering a blizzard of deadly shrapnel-filled steel. Below, the flak batteries are relentless, calculating the bomber's altitude and speed with brutal efficiency. Every second is a fight for survival against the invisible, explosive wall erected by the enemy. Out of the clouds, the Luftwaffe strikes. Messerschmitts and Focke-Wulfs pounce on the vulnerable formation.
The German pilots are desperate, defending their homeland with aggressive, high-speed attacks.
The American gunners respond instantly, turning the sky into a deadly, crisscrossing web of fire. Then, the unthinkable. In the swarm of battle, two of the flying fortresses collide with catastrophic force.
The impact is devastating. Little Skipper is mortally wounded, its crew now facing a terminal dive. But 9 lives, piloted by Captain Fort, does not fall. It is now riding the shattered remains of the other plane. Captain Fort fights for control, his expert airmanship battling the laws of physics and gravity.
This is the Piggyback Flight, a unique and desperate struggle for survival unfolding over the hostile German landscape. The enemy pilots hesitate, witnessing a spectacle of aerial defiance never before seen in this war.
The crew of the lower plane, those who can, take their chance, leaping into the freezing air. The combined weight is too great. Fort's only hope is to somehow maintain enough control to reach friendly territory or a safe landing.
They are now skimming the forest canopy, the airframe groaning under the impossible stress. With a final, agonizing wrench, the two bombers separate, the wreckage of the lower plane crashing below.
Captain Fort is now flying a crippled bomber, but he is flying. The immediate danger has passed.
The damage is immense. One engine is out, the wing is severely compromised, and the controls are sluggish.
The Luftwaffe sees their chance. The lone B-17 is now a vulnerable target for their final assault.
The crew fights on, a desperate final stand against the overwhelming odds of the air battle. Against all expectations, the American gunners managed to score a decisive hit on the pursuing enemy. Fort uses the terrain as cover, a desperate, low-level flight to escape the relentless German pursuit.
While Fort fought his impossible battle, the rest of the 100th Bomb Group fought on to complete their deadly assignment.
The Luftwaffe pilots displayed intense courage, knowing the fate of their nation rested on their desperate defense.
The moment of truth. The bomb bay doors open, releasing the devastating payload onto the industrial heart of the enemy.
Verified intelligence later confirmed the massive damage inflicted on the critical fuel production facility.
The crew of the lower plane, having bailed out, now faced the grim reality of capture behind enemy lines.
Their war was over. They were now prisoners, their fate resting in the hands of their captors.
The air battle was a brutal, unforgiving exchange of fire and skill, costing lives on both sides of the conflict.
The surviving aircraft returned to base, scarred and battered, carrying the silent weight of their fallen comrades.
Before the collision, these two aircraft flew side by side, symbols of Allied air power and camaraderie.
The emotional toll on the surviving crew was immense. grappling with the loss and the miracle of their own survival.
Fort's mind was racing, making split-second decisions that would determine the fate of his remaining crew. Communication was sporadic. They were isolated, relying solely on the pilot's skill and the plane's resilience. A moment of light in the darkness. A brief reprieve from the brutal conditions of the winter sky.
Even the enemy recognized the impossible feat of airmanship, a moment of honor in the midst of total war. Every ounce counted. They stripped the plane, desperately trying to stretch their remaining fuel and range.
The co-pilot worked tirelessly, a vital partner in the impossible task of controlling the crippled aircraft.
Crossing the North Sea was a final, cold test. A ditching here would mean certain death in the freezing waters. The bond between the men was unbreakable, forged in the crucible of combat and shared near-death experience. The B-17 was a wreck, held together by sheer will and the strength of its aluminum frame.
Against all odds, Captain Fort has brought his crippled flying fortress and his crew out of enemy territory.
Please subscribe.
The immediate danger is over, but the challenge remains, landing a severely damaged bomber.
Fort prepares for the landing, a final, critical test of the aircraft's integrity and his skill.
Emergency services are alerted. The base prepares for a crash landing, expecting the worst outcome.
The landing is violent. The crippled plane bounces, threatening to break apart on impact. Against all odds, Captain Fort manages to bring 9 lives to a stop, saving his entire crew. The surviving airmen emerge, having endured an aerial ordeal that defied all engineering logic.
The relief was palpable, a powerful, emotional release after hours of sustained, mortal danger.
Examination of the wreckage confirms the unbelievable. The plane flew while carrying the weight of another B-17.
The rescue teams converge on the scene, witnessing the incredible sight of the miraculously landed aircraft.
Captain Fort's bravery and skill were officially recognized, a deserved honor for his impossible feat.
We remember the courage and sacrifice of all the airmen who flew these missions over the hostile European skies.
An incredible tale of bravery, expert airmanship, and honor, forged in the heat of a desperate air battle.
This is the history of the skies.